So I think across this afternoon, you've seen a lot of what is special and happening all across the university in the area of generative AI. I want to give a special thanks to the entire team here who really put together today's event, from Karim Lakhani, John Shaw, Klara Yelenkova, however you want to pronounce her name, Bharath Anand. If I can do better than the avatar, then I think I've done all right. It's really great to see all of you from all different parts of the university. This is such a vital topic for us in all of the areas that we've been discussing today. So my job here is to introduce the guy who's already spoken and had an avatar of himself present in some halting text generation to open up the symposium today. But I just want to say that where we would not be where we are as a university in the space of generative AI without Karim Lakhani's leadership, pushing us inside central administration in the president's office and the provost's office to do more, be more creative, experiment more, and also solve the most critical problems that we have here at the university internally as an organization. So I am happy to introduce my good friend, Karim Lakhani.
Thank you so much. Before I launch into a bit of a framework on how to think about what's happening with generative AI and expertise and knowledge workers, I just want to acknowledge, we're the front faces of an incredible set of people that got us here today. So this was a true collaboration between 4 different aspects of Harvard: OVPR, IT, VPAL, and D-Cubed. And where are all the organizers? They might be at the back. So let's just give them a big hand for all of them. Truly, this required a ton of effort and coordination, and organizations that typically don't work together to pull this off. But we really came together with this mission that this feels like a very important moment for education, for learning, for knowledge creation. And so as you sort of saw today, what we observed was GPTs are GPTs, right? General purpose technologies. Okay, so what we observed was across a range of projects, from the sciences to the humanities to business to law, we saw the application of the tools and the study of those tools. And I've never seen in basically a 2-year time period such broad-based adoption of a fundamental technology across the board. It's remarkable. And I think in many ways, this is the future that we're going to be living with AI sort of becoming part and parcel of how we work and how we get work done. So just to put this into context, this is nothing new. There's been about 70 years of AI development, starting with the first conference in Dartmouth in the 50s around cybernetics, and going through several waves of cybernetics, expert systems, machine learning, and now in this generative tool. And as was discussed earlier, what happened in 2022 was, as Bharath mentioned, generative AI was democratized. It was kind of like the browser moment 30 years before, where before there was the internet and all of us used them sort of in sort of kludgy forums. The browser gets invented, and then we had this big explosion. The same thing's happened with AI. There's been 7 years of AI, but now we can actually, all of us, use these tools without having some kind of expert knowledge in data science or in AI. The thing to note, though, and what's happening, what's remarkable from a technological perspective, is that the rate of improvement of these generative models appears to be quadratic or exponential. Okay, so every 6 months or 9 months, their capabilities keep increasing. At the same time, what we're observing at our institute when we work with companies is that adoption is linear at best. So if you have an exponential system, a quadratic system improving, but if adoption is linear, you're going to be exponentially behind. And that's the problem we see inside of our organizations across the world, where executives sort of feel this shift, but don't know how to absorb. And what we see is that this is not a technological adoption issue. Meredith, you were probably here when there was discussions about should we adopt Wi-Fi. Those were conversations that I'm sure many of you were in, but should we have Wi-Fi in our buildings? Or should we allow browsers, right? Those were issues. The thing that's different about this technology is it's no longer about information access, it's about changing the nature of work. And what you observed, I was stunned by the study of how genetic sequencing for gut biome could get accelerated to a week from a year's, right? That stuff is incredible, but it's changing the nature of work. And so the adoption issue is how do work processes change, not just about should we allow Wi-Fi or technology access in the first place. So this is going to be an issue for us too, because although we're very special as an organization, we're still an organization. And adoption issues will matter to us as much as they matter to a General Electric or a Procter & Gamble along the way. And the thing to note is that today's models, at least for the time being, are the worst they'll ever be. So the capabilities you've seen unlocked today from all of the presenters are the worst models, right? And 6 months, 9 months times, they'll double in capacity. And that's just something that we should be thinking through as we imagine what our roles are in this dynamic world. So I just wanted to take you back to Econ 101. Again, we're at a business school, so we have to talk about economics. Again, take you back 30 years. This was the symbol of the browser. What the browser did really, and what the internet did, is sort of lowered the marginal cost of information transmission. Okay? So, and just to put it starkly, if you were today on a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting in the last week or so, right, you were basically participating in a dynamic two-way or multi-way video conference. 30 years ago, that would have cost you $10,000 per person per minute. Today, it's free, right? The marginal cost of information transmission with the internet has gone to zero. And it created brand new business models, Google, Baidu, search, because if everybody's an information producer, search becomes a bottleneck. Some of you still may have some illegal music in your hard drives. Certainly this generation looks this way. This was probably also an issue here, right, at Harvard, way back when in 97, 99. What did Napster do? Napster lowered the cost of music distribution and unbundled the song from the album and gave us new business models of iTunes subscriptions as well as 99 cents per song. My slides are all messed up. What did iOS do? iOS basically lowered the cost of software distribution. Remember, we used to buy software at Sears and Micro Center in boxes, right? You'd get like paper cuts opening those things, or plastic cuts. And now you have anybody can write a software program, and we've got this amazing thing called TikTok. So the question now is, what is generative AI doing? What is it lowering the cost of? And what are the new business models that are emerging? We still don't know what the business models are emerging, but our research at our institute shows that AI lowers the cost of expertise, okay? And again, I started today by saying we're in the expertise business. We create expertise, we teach expertise, we go deep, right? And if AI is lowering the cost of expertise, then we're in for an interesting ride as an institution. And when I talk to companies, companies are just bundles of expertise: finance, marketing, sales, product development, customer service, and so forth. And if the cost of this expertise is dropping, then again, companies are in for a big ride as well as we deal with these technologies. So just how should we think about this? So just imagine a normal distribution of skills. And what we see happening with AI is that with AI, this distribution will shift to the right, and the left tail will get cut off. Okay? Because if you know how to use the AI, you'll be at wherever the AI is at. And contrary to how Bharat believes that this is like Ryanair, this looks to be better than Ryanair. It feels like a Concorde. No, not a Concorde, because that's obsolete. Emirates Airline instead, right? Emirates First Class instead of Ryanair. Because in study after study, depending on the context, we're seeing that the performance of AI is matching or exceeding at least master's level folks, and if not, approaching PhD level folks in a variety of fields. Again, so what happens to the left tail and what happens to the right tail is going to be important. And because we're in the right tail business, this has huge implications for us. So let me put this into context about where some of the grads from HBS and also from the college end up at, right, which is a consulting company. So we did a study at Boston Consulting Group trying to understand what happens when AI gets introduced to entry-level consultants. And this is a randomized controlled trial where we have people working on tasks that they work on while they're consultants with AI and without AI, about 758 people in our sample. And what we discovered is that the AI has a very jagged frontier. In the same set of activities you're doing as a consultant, AI is good at certain things and bad at other things. And you have to know when is it good and when is it bad. And so what we discovered for where it was good, which was around the creative tasks, the performance improved dramatically. Those with AI, remember, these are consultants with Harvard degrees, Penn degrees, Stanford degrees, and so on and so forth. Half are MBAs, a quarter are undergrads, a quarter are PhDs. Those with AI shift to the right, and those without AI are where they're at. And the difference is you do 12% more tasks, you're faster, and 40% higher quality for the content being created. Also, what we observed, although these are all BCG consultants and nobody's below average at BCG, in our pre-test, they all go to Lake Wobegon. If you imagine, again, a normal distribution of skills, those below average at BCG improved by about 43%, and those above average improved by about 17%. There's a recent study that just came out of MIT looking at material scientists and generative AI, and they showed that the best scientists improved even greater. So we're seeing now these types of studies doing very close work, analysis of actual work being done by knowledge workers, and then seeing the effects with and without AI. Now here's where we saw the downside. In the task flow, there was also quantitative analysis. This is prior to generative AI having the capabilities to call a Python machine and run code independently. So here, our people that graduate from our schools, the top schools, when they used generative AI for a task where it was not well suited for, their performance dropped, okay, significantly, all right? So you see the control condition, 85% got the answers right. With AI tools, they between 60 and 70% got the answers right. So it's a pretty massive drop in performance. So the postdoc that led the study, Fabrizio Dell'Acqua, he says people fall asleep at the wheel with AI, okay? And part of our challenge, both in learning and teaching these tools and how that gets incorporated, both in the professional settings, but also in all of our settings, is going to be how do we make sure that we stay awake and actually are thinking critically. If, as Chris says, experts are best at using AI, but how will we create the next generation of experts that also know how to use AI? And that's going to be a real challenge for all of us across the board. And what we discovered also in the BCG study is that we actually had three typologies of folks. We interviewed everybody as part of this, so we had ethnographers with us, and they interviewed all the consultants. There were centaurs that equally divided themselves between the work they were good at and then the work that the AI was good at. We had cyborgs, those intermixed the tasks. And then a third category with the self-automators, they pressed play and went for coffee, right? Let the machine do everything for them along the way. And I'm sure my students, I had 90 students in my section of the course that Yav was talking about, but there was a bunch of people that were literally just press play and come back later, coming through. So now these are sort of two individual productivity numbers that I'm showing you, but we also know that most work in an organization happens in teams. Administratively, we work in teams. Research happens in teams. So what about teams? And here we did a study with Procter & Gamble. And this paper just came out. We have about 775 professionals at P&G, those that are doing R&D work and commercial work, early stage innovation tasks. And here too, we ran a study to see what happens when they're given AI or not given AI. Our study design was as follows. We basically have 2x2 design, teams, cross-functional teams, R&D and marketing without AI and with AI, and then individuals, either R&D or marketing with AI and without AI. Here's what we discovered here, okay? An individual with AI is as good as a team without AI. An individual with AI is as good as a team without AI. And a team with AI is almost as, an individual with AI is also almost as good as a team with AI. Now, note that these tools today are still individualistic tools. They don't support teamwork yet. And part of the challenge is going to be like, how do we support teams in using these tools? Now, we did find that teams with AI had the best set of ideas overall. But already we see that if you're a finance person, if a CFO looks at this and goes like, why do I have all these teams? Right? Why don't I just put in individuals with AI tools, right? That's going to be a key element. And then what we observed in the research was basically if you're an individual without AI, you skew towards your expertise. So if you're an R&D person, your solutions were more R&D-like. If you're a marketing person, your solutions were marketing-like. But individuals with AI had more balanced solutions, which matched the balanced solutions that teams created as well. Okay? So this is this notion of the missing expertise can be called for with these world models. And these are just off-the-shelf world models. There's nothing special. There's no special P&G training on this to make this happen. And by the way, P&G folks are co-authors with us on this paper because we felt like they were as involved in designing the study as we were in doing it as well. The next aspect that we saw was that people felt better using AI, so the more positive emotions and fewer negative emotions as well. So if you think about what do teams provide, teams provide you expertise, teams provide you coordination, teams provide you with social support, AI is providing you all that, right? So AI transforms from a tool to a teammate. And so that's the big thing that we're sort of seeing going forward, that this is now part of teams that we sort of see emerge. And this has, again, huge implications in everything that we do here, both in our learning mission, in our administrative mission, and our research mission along the way as well. You know, my RAs always want to fire me because I'm always like making them work hard and like all the time, and I change my mind. My AI RA doesn't mind, right? So we're always having this debate, like, okay, what are we going to do? So what are we expecting? So the impact on knowledge workers, the ones that we create, our mission is. There is going to be a replacement effect, right? Some jobs will go away, that's for sure. We also see augmentation, right? Augmentation is going to happen where you have these superpowers available to you, and that should allow you to do 5x, 10x more work. And then also transformation. Work will change. You know, a decade ago, social media influencers were not a thing, but now they exist because of the way social media works. The way e-commerce work has changed dramatically. So there has been dramatic transformation in our workforces, and we expect a lot of that to happen as well along the way. But here's what I'm sort of going to push our thinking a little bit more. Agents are the new thing. So while at the moment we're still in this notion of us working with a chatbot and a textual basis, agents are taking over, and we're imagining 3 different aspects of agents coming through. First is sort of workflows end-to-end might be enhanced with agents. So agents get inside the loop of the work. So we had this admissions example. We could be that you get the initial set of essays that we get from students get evaluated by an agent initially, right, with some rubric that we believe is consistent for us, or grading exams, or other things along the way. So agents will potentially come in and participate in the workflows that exist. We also expect that individuals will come with their own agents. I anticipate what I'm hoping at HBS is that, you know, we had one class in our required curriculum, our class that we talked about, where students use 2 agents. Now, they've already told us they want to use these agents going forward. Now, there's no reason why in a few years, there's an agent that learns with our students in every single classroom. And every single discussion is recorded by that agent and becomes available to them. And so when they leave for work, that agent travels with them. What does that world look like? And how will organizations take those agents and work with them? And then finally, we expect teams to be hybrid, right? It'll be both people and agents as well. And I've already put the agent as the boss at the top. Now, I won't ask the question, who likes their bosses right now in this room with all the eyes on each other? But you could maybe send me an email afterwards if you prefer to work with an agent boss or a human boss. But let me ask you this question. There's several organizations, but all of you have used an organization where the agent is the boss. Today. Who can guess? Today, the agent hires people, agent allocates tasks, agent rewards people, agent pays the people, agent fires people. Uber, exactly. Uber today, millions of people use Uber, and millions of people are workers of Uber, where everything is done by an algorithm. So that already exists. Instacart is the same way, and so on and so forth. So that world already exists, and I don't think this is too far away either. Certainly, if my MBAs have their way, they're starting to create startups in this space. So this, again, is not something that is far away from what's going to happen at Harvard as well. So more headaches for Meredith, unfortunately, as to how we think about the agent boss inside of the Harvard administrative structure, and how will we pay them, how will we promote them, all that kind of stuff. Well, those are all topics that we're trying to understand here at DCubed. And so, we're close to the end. I'd love for us, as we go for break, to think about 4 questions for the day. What surprised you? You saw a lot of presentations, lots of talks. What surprised you? Okay? Then secondly, what are you worried about? Big questions for us. And as we talk with each other in the reception, ask that question. Then what are you excited about? And then finally, what do you want to learn more about? Because truly, I really see that this is an incredible opportunity for all of us, wherever we are at Harvard, to imagine the ways in which we work, the ways in which we teach, the ways in which we learn, and the ways in which we do our research getting fundamentally transformed. And I think our mission of Veritas and truth can actually be enhanced by using these tools. I remain an optimist, but there are, of course, many downsides along the way, and collectively, we hope that we figure it out. With that, we're going to head over now to next door to Spangler and the Meredith room, where we have a reception and also some demos as well of things that are being done at Harvard University. Thank you very much to all of you for spending the day with us. I do have one announcement. We have an associate's program, so for faculty across Harvard, if you're interested, please look at this URL to apply for our associate's program as we go through, and we'll see you across the board. Thank you very much.